Hi there. The technique that I'm going to share with you will enable you to present anybody's slides and even present those slides that you've been handed last minute. And that's often the case in the real world. So what do I see before I give you the techniques? What do I see day in, day out? I see things like this. So let's create a situation. Let's imagine I'm a cardiologist. I ask Copilot to build me 20 slides on latest research around heart attacks and heart conditions. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Tomlinson, and I'm going to talk to you about the frontiers in cardiovascular therapy. If we look at the global burden of cardiovascular disease, 20.5 million annual deaths globally. And I'm going to stop there. So what's wrong with that? If you click and talk, and most people do, you're dividing the attention of the room. I guarantee that whilst you're talking about the facts and figures, somebody is looking at the donut, looking at other percentages. So that's the bad way of doing your presentation. So what do I propose in place of that? One, introduce the slide. If you introduce the slide, when you click, you can remain silent and people have time to read, time to discover. And then you're going to elaborate on the information. So what does that look like? For each slide, you just need to write out one sentence of introduction. 10 slides, 10 sentences. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So I'm looking at this slide. I've only had it for 10 minutes. Copilot finished this presentation 10 minutes ago. The global burden of cardiovascular disease, facts and figures, and the share of cardiovascular mortality. So my introduction could look something like this before I click. Let's start by looking at some key facts and figures and the percentage share of cardiovascular mortality. And now nobody's surprised by the slide. They've got time to take in the information. And you'll also notice that I never show more than 5-6 lines because neuroscience tells us that over that number of pieces of information, the brain will saturate. And I'm not going to read this information because they've already read it, but I can take one figure. If we look at the cost, medical cost annually in the US, that's more than $200 billion. What about the split? What's the share of cardiovascular mortality? And we can see that the two big players are ischemic HD and stroke. So what am I doing here? I'm applying these 4 steps. Now, make a note of this, guys. This is the road to success with PowerPoint presenting. 1, introduce the slide. That avoids surprising the public. 2, click. 3, silence. As you've introduced the slide, you can now make that silence that's going to give them time to read, time to take in the information. And then 4, elaborate rather than reading the text. So if I show you another example, that's a busy slide. For me, that's a handout that people need to read, quietly once they're back home. But I see slides like this all the time. So once again, what I'm doing is I'm looking for that sentence of introduction. So it could be, let's take a look at cardiac biomarkers in 5 different domains and see what's established, emerging, and in clinical use. So there we have the 5 domains. What's established? And I can talk about those. And there you go. You can see again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm moving on to emerging and in clinical use today. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's all you need to do. Another thing you can do is, with a busy slide, if you don't have time, is to put this square of light on one part of the slide that you can move across. And I guarantee the public will be comfortable because they will just follow that projector around the slide. And you can change its dimension. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 5% of people that know how to present correctly with PowerPoint. 1, introduce the slide. 2, click. 3, silence. And 4, elaborate. Have fun with that. If you're lost, go to my YouTube channel at David Tomlinson Tips for Talks. All the best for your future presentations. I'll be back shortly with more tips. Until then, take care.